Perfect.
Good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hello, my name is Lauren, and I am a volunteer yoga teacher with Warrior Yoga, and I'm super excited to be able to do a quick little class today for Max Ottawa via Warrior Yoga. It's a really cool opportunity. I'm also on the Spectrum Committee with Warrior Yoga, and we are trying to make yoga more accessible to all kinds of people. So my dog might make a special appearance. I will try to keep him away or up on the couch. His name is Blue, and he loves to be the center of attention. That being said, my focus with class today is lower back. It will be a pretty quick class. You don't need any props. You don't need any tools. If you have things that you like to use in your practice, of course, feel free to use those. But otherwise, you just need yourself and somewhere to sit. So with that being said, find yourself, if you can, in a comfortable seated position. You can also choose to start the beginning of class lying down, but whatever you'd like. And if you feel comfortable and safe where you are, I invite you to close your eyes or lower your gaze. And before we do any movement, we'll just take a moment to settle in. Giving yourself some acknowledgement for allowing yourself to have this time to move in a way that feels good. And I invite you to notice your breath. And you don't have to change it just yet, but just notice it. Bringing some awareness to the rate and the rhythm. Feeling where your breath goes in your body. As you do this, take a moment to drop your shoulders away from your ears to release that tension. Maybe you relax your jaw, drop your tongue from the roof of your mouth if it's there. Ease any tension in your eyelids or eyebrows. And you might choose to bring some intention to the way that you're breathing this afternoon. Maybe you make your inhales a little bit longer and deeper, and your exhales a little bit longer as well, letting go of any tension with every exhale. You can choose to exhale and sigh through your mouth if that feels good. I invite you to put your hands on your sides, up near your ribs. And see if you can feel your body expand as you inhale and then release as you exhale. And often we say to send our breath into our bellies, but really no air ever gets to our belly. But of course, all of our organs move so our belly expands. So it's just the intention of sending your air into your belly, but you'll feel your ribs widen as well. So I like to keep my hands here and connect to that feeling of expanding and then releasing. Bring some intention to expanding your body in all sides, not just letting your belly go to the front and your sides move out, but even your back. And again, it's just the intention of expanding fully and then releasing. Take a few more rounds of breath at your own pace. When you're ready, if your arms are somewhere on your torso or your body, you can let them drop to rest on your knees or by your sides. I prefer them to be on my knees, palms down. And you can maintain this focus on your breathing throughout the duration of this class, always coming back to it. And we'll use it as a guide for our movement as well. So before we do any big movements, take a minute again to just shrug your shoulders up and then let them drop away from your ears. Lengthen your spine so you're sitting nice and tall. Maybe you engage your core a little bit to protect your back. And for me, my head is in a fairly neutral position. If it feels better to be slightly up or slightly down, I encourage you to do whatever feels good. And on our next inhale, using your hands to pull on your knees, you're going to pull yourself forward. So we'll do a seated version of cat and cow. So you're pulling yourself forward to find an arch in your back. The crown of your head and your heart are leaning forward. And then as you exhale, you're going to round your spine, drop your head, curl in, and you can lean back using your arms to pull on your knees a little bit. And we'll do this for a little bit. So follow your own breath, finding what feels good. Inhaling to come forward and exhaling to round back. And you can do this for a few more cycles of breath, choosing to keep with this motion of going forward or backwards, or you can add some circles in and go a little bit rogue on your cat-cow. So as you inhale, you can pull yourself forward in a circular motion, and then exhale backwards in that circular motion, still dropping your head. You can do a few circles in one direction, and then perhaps you switched so you feel even on both sides. And when you're ready, you can find a neutral spine, sitting up nice and tall again. And as you inhale, both arms can sweep up overhead. And as you exhale, your left hand is going to find your right knee, and your right hand is going to fall behind you. You can keep your chest nice and tall here, your heart open. And as you exhale, you can see if you can find a gentle twist in that torso and back, your middle back and upper back, and a little bit of your lower back. And your gaze can be, again, wherever feels good. For me, I'm looking down towards the right side. So you're just finding a gentle twist here. And I invite you to stay here for a few rounds of breath. You can either find complete stillness and whatever feels good. Or as you inhale, you can release some tension on your arms, let yourself come back to center ever so slightly. And as you exhale, see if you can twist yourself a little bit deeper to really warm up your spine. Additionally, your gaze might want to twist behind you so you're looking over that right shoulder. And take one more round of breath, a big inhale, and a deep exhale as well. As you inhale, come back to center, arms sweep tall overhead again. And exhale to the other side. So this time your right hand comes to your left knee, your left hand drops behind you. And just as before, finding stillness in a spot that feels good, or using the pressure of your hand against your knee with every exhale to twist a little bit deeper. And know that both sides don't have to feel the same. It's okay if they feel a little bit different or very different. Again, finding stillness or maybe some gentle pulsing movements guided by your breathing. One more round of breath, a deep inhale and a full exhale. When you're ready, if you're ready, inhale, arms sweep overhead, back to center. And this time as you exhale, you're going to lean forward, keeping your back and your arms and shoulders in line as much as feels good until you're leaning forward as much as you can, and then let your hands find the ground. From here, you can walk your hands forward a little bit and then drop your head and round your back a little bit. So you're finding this seated variation of a forward fold. And maybe up here feels good, or maybe you go further down and maybe you come onto your elbows. Just letting yourself sink a little bit into this forward fold. Take a moment to come back to your breath and see if you can feel your back body expanding as you inhale. You're sending your breath there with your intention. Take a few more rounds of breath. When you're ready on your next inhale, you can lift your head and your chest a little bit. Use your hands to walk yourself up, and then you can roll over onto your hands and knees. So knees roughly underneath your hips and hands roughly underneath your shoulders to be in table. And we'll do those cat-cow movements again like we did seated, but this time just in a different shape. So as you inhale, you're going to round your spine, tucking your tailbone under. Your gaze can drop if it feels good to look between your knees. And then as you exhale, drop your belly, your tailbone lifts, your heart lifts, your gaze might lift along with it. And then inhale to round again. So just like before, use your breath as your guide and your timer. And move through these two movements with a lot of intention. Notice if and where you can feel your body stretching and relaxing or tensing. Do one more cycle of that. From here, I invite you to let your bum fall back onto your heels. Adjust the distance between your knees or feet as much as you need. And then walk your hands forward as much as feels good. And you can let your head drop to the ground. Alternatively, you can use your arms or hands as a pillow for your forehead, and we'll find child's pose. And be here for a couple cycles of breath. Feel your belly maybe settle between your knees. Noticing how your ribs and abdomen and back still fill with air no matter what position you're in, but it always feels different depending on the shape of your body. If you want a little bit of a different sensation, you can walk your hands out a little bit more. I know for me, that gives me a bit more sensation in my shoulders as well. And if you're doing this, ensure that all your fingers are planted on the ground, the palms of your hands on the ground. When you're ready, if you're ready, on your next inhale, you'll come back up through to a table. And then you're going to tuck your toes. And in your own time, straighten your knees as much as feels good until you find a downward dog. Take a second to pedal your feet out. This will be our one and only downward dog, but give yourself a couple moments to stretch out in it. Really trying to lengthen your spine from the crown of your head all the way through to your tailbone. And on your next inhale, you can tippy toe walk your feet up between your hands. And then keep a generous bend in your knees. Inhale to lift just halfway. You can bring your hands to your shins to lift your gaze, your head, your back. And then as you exhale, you're going to fold forward again, but this time hang heavy. You can keep your arms right down in front of you, or you might grab for opposite elbows. Let the back of your neck hang nice and heavy. Your upper back and lower back release a little bit. Finding a nice gentle stretch there. And maybe you choose to find stillness, or if you want some sensation in your lower back and a little bit in your sides, you can sway ever so slightly from side to side, adding a little bit of a twist with that gentle movement. Alternatively, you can inhale to come up and lift a little bit and exhale to forward fold a little bit deeper. So whatever movement you're finding, make sure it feels good. You can shake your head, yes and no. Release any tension in your neck. If you've been reaching for opposite elbows, you can go ahead and release that. Take a nice big inhale and lift halfway again, bringing your hands to your shins. And then as you exhale, you can plant your hands and step your feet back into a downward dog, just briefly. And then drop your knees and send your hips back into child's pose. When you're ready, you can inhale to walk your hands back towards your body. Maybe they come up onto your knees. And then you can roll over so that you're in a seated position again. You might also choose to lie on your back. We'll take just about a minute or two to come back to our breathing, finding some stillness, wrapping up this very brief class. So I invite you, if you feel safe and comfortable to do so, to close your eyes or lower your gaze again. Bring some awareness to the way that your body feels. And maybe notice if it feels any different than it did 20 minutes ago. Or maybe it feels the exact same. Keep taking a few more nice long inhales and deep exhales. Letting go of any tension you might be holding on to. Giving yourself space and permission to just be here for another moment or two. I invite you to let go of any control over your breathing when you're ready and just let it fall back into its natural rhythm, whatever that looks like right now for you. And for about 30 more seconds, just let yourself be in this space. When you're ready, if you're ready to close this practice, you can flutter open your eyes if they were closed. You can rub your hands together to create a little bit of heat. Not that we need it if you're in Ottawa, it's very hot. Take a nice big inhale. As you exhale through your mouth, I invite you to place your hands over your heart for a little bit of self-love. Allow yourself to thank yourself for spending a little bit of time doing something for you this afternoon. And with that, that wraps up my very quick class. But as with every class, it is an honor and a privilege to get to spend time with you and guide you through a little bit of yoga. So thank you.